Hey everybody, Exotic Gaming here. Hope you're all having a great day today. I just made a video talking about the 10 must-play mobile shooting games of 2024, and I got a lot of comments from people asking if I could do this, but have it for low-end games. I realize a lot of the people watching this video don't have an iPhone 15 Pro Max or a Red Magic 9 Pro, so they might not be able to play games like Arena Breakout, Warzone Mobile, or even Combat Master Battle Royale or Call of Duty Mobile. So in this video, I'm doing it for you guys. I've compiled my list of the 10 best mobile shooting games to play for low-end devices. Some of these are brand new games, and you've probably never heard of them before, so stay tuned. So sit back, relax, leave a like if you enjoy, and subscribe for more mobile gaming content just like this, and let's do this. Getting things started with game number 1, this is a fan favorite and a game that you probably expected to be on this list, Special Forces Group 3. As I've said many times before, Special Forces Group 2 is an iconic mobile game. Millions of people started their gaming careers with this one, and the highly anticipated Special Forces Group 3 finally got out of beta a few days ago and is now officially doing a global test on Android. It's going to come to iOS very soon. I think once they finish this test, it'll fully be out for both types of devices, but yeah, man, this game is freaking awesome. You can play both online and offline. There's a wide variety of different maps to play in, lots of different game modes to choose from, and different weapons to play with, tons of other customizable options in your settings, as well as highly customizable settings for private matches, and it's overall just a really solid game that's essentially a big upgrade to Special Forces Group 2. Think of it as a combination of Call of Duty, CSGO, first-person PUBG, and a bunch of other games. You might not like it, but it's pretty safe to say this game is going to appeal to pretty much everybody watching this video. Next up, our second game on this list is Pow War. This game has been on many of my lists in the past, and it continues to be a great game into 2024. Maybe not as popular as it once was, but it's still a great option. This game is a great alternative to Call of Duty Mobile if you've played it too much and you're looking for something that still has that arcadey FPS feel to it. It's available for both iOS and Android, and honestly, one of the best things about it is it's got really great game mechanics. Like, you know how a lot of low-end games are just really clunky and they feel like they're a low-end game? Like they don't have that polish that Call of Duty Mobile has? Not Pow War. It's super smooth, fluid, and satisfying when playing, and you're going to have a really great time once you start playing the game. Don't look at the graphics and immediately write this one off. I know a lot of people only care if a game is the most realistic looking game possible, but if you take a look at a game like Pixel Gun 3D, for example, you realize you can get some really great games that don't necessarily have the most realistic graphics in the world, and in my opinion, I think gameplay mechanics are the most important thing when it comes to video games. Moving forward, the third game on our list is an upcoming game that you can't play just yet, but when it does come out, it's going to be one of the very best games for low-end devices, Scarfall 2.0. I'm sure you probably remember Scarfall, the original one. I've made quite a few videos on this Battle Royale game in the past, but if you know about Garena Free Fire, I don't know what it is about this game in particular, but I just like it better. It's very similar to Free Fire, but it just doesn't have that crazy cult following, and in my personal opinion, I think the gameplay mechanics might be a little bit better. Scarfall 2.0 is coming out in 2024, and it's looking like it's going to be basically the better upgraded version of the original game, with improved graphics, gameplay mechanics, maybe some new maps and weapons, and stuff like that. And of course, as the original Scarfall game was actually super optimized for low-end devices, there's no doubt in my mind the new version will be as well. It's a very well-rounded mobile battle royale game that just checks all the boxes when you're looking to find a good game. I still like it, and I think you guys will as well. Since it's not out yet, I'm looking out for updates, and you should subscribe to my channel because whenever the game drops and you can finally download it, I'm going to make a video letting you all know. Continuing along, the fourth game we need to talk about is Arena Breakout Light. I've also talked about this game many times before, but can you blame me? This game is freaking awesome. If you've never heard about Arena Breakout before, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but this is probably the very best mobile FPS games for mobile devices right now. It's arguably the most advanced, most hardcore, best graphics, and most realistic experience you can get on a mobile device, both iOS and Android. It's the mobile version of the popular PC game Escape from Tarkov, where you spawn into the map, collect all the loot that you can find, and try to extract without dying. If you die, you lose everything, and if you win, you get to keep it all. Arena Breakout Light is essentially the same thing as the full game, for Android specifically, just way more optimized for low-end devices. And I know it's optimized for low-end devices. I actually did a test a while ago on a $30 Android phone, and I was able to get stable enough performance to where I was actually enjoying myself. But do keep in mind, just due to the nature that it's a new game, it's a very advanced game, it's got a lot of components and mechanics to it, it's going to be a bit more taxing on your device compared to some of the other games on this list that are a lot more simplistic and a bit older. So just prepare for that. It's still going to be a lot of fun, and you're still really going to enjoy this game. Going down the list to the 5th game, we got to talk about another game that I've mentioned before, and I actually talked about in my last video, but I think everybody should have on their phones, Aimlab Mobile. Do you want to improve your aim in mobile games? I know you do. Everybody wants to get better. The thing is, I don't necessarily like the training areas in a lot of different games. And when you actually go into a match as a beginning player, especially with like battle royale games and extraction games, for instance, you're not even going to encounter enough people to get comfortable with all the weapons with all their unique recoil patterns and attachments and stuff like that. So Aimlab Mobile is actually really great because it has a whole series of different minigames to test your reaction time and accuracy so you can get more comfortable in different games. It even has the ability for you to customize your own weapon with its own unique stats and a fully customizable recoil as well. I mean, literally, you can see it. It's freaking crazy to match weapons in different games. Super advanced. It's a lot more in-depth than it may seem on the surface, just a simple training mode game, and it's actually a legitimately fun game that I do play over many other shooting games just for fun. I really enjoy it, and it works super well even down to the most budget of low-end devices. But hey, we're not done yet. The 6th game on this list is another Polygon-themed game similar to Pow War, Polygon Arena. I did a video on this game a couple of months ago, and I was blown away at just how good it was. It literally felt as good as games like Call of Duty Mobile when I was playing it. It just had really nice gameplay mechanics. I don't know, like I said before, I think how the game plays and feels is most important. Graphics aren't everything. So even though this game is all polygon themed and cartoonish, very similar to Pow War that we talked about a little while ago, it's like that PC game that went viral a few months ago, BattleBits, the game that literally replicated a Battlefield experience better than some of the most recent Battlefield games that came out, and a lot of people preferred that game over games like Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042. People care a lot more about the overall gameplay experience. Graphics aren't everything. The developers seem to be pretty active with the community, even commenting on my video when I posted it, and I think this game has a very bright future. It's still in a relatively early stage of development, but it seems like they have some really big plans, at least according to the comments, and I'm really excited. This game could be a great blend of Call of Duty, Pixel Gun 3D, and CSGO if the developers play their cards right, and they can pretty much cater to all audiences. This game has a real chance of being the next big thing. Another game that has a real chance of getting huge this year, if the developer plays his cards right and really focuses on low-end users, is Carnage Wars. Everybody is talking about this game right now, at least I think everybody is. I'm talking about it a lot, at least in some of my most recent videos. It's like a budget version of Warzone Mobile and Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This game is still quite clunky and buggy, as you can see from the gameplay, but it's getting better. It has a lot of features that you would want in a fast-paced Call of Duty mobile style game. It's almost like a combination of Call of Duty and Battlefield. It's got that signature Call of Duty tactical sprint, gameplay more similar to a Call of Duty game, a lot of the same game modes, but some of the maps are these big wide-scale multiplayer maps with helicopters and tanks, just like a Battlefield game. It's really cool, and I know you look at the graphics here and think, oh no, it's not going to be a good game, but trust me when I say this, I actually really do enjoy Carnage Wars. It works really well on low-end devices, and I'm not being sponsored by the game to actually say that. I literally made a video testing out this game on that same budget $30 phone, just like I did with Arena Breakout Light, and guess what? The game played perfectly on that phone. That's not something that happens with a lot of these games. This is a really solid game. I understand it's not going to be for everybody, but I say give it a shot, support the dev team on this game, and let me know in the comments what you guys think. Pushing along to the 8th game on this list, we have Recurrence Light. you might have not heard of this game before. I'm sure you remember in my recent video, I talked about Recurrence Co-op, the multiplayer Ready or Not mobile-like game with really nice graphics, good tactical gameplay mechanics, and the added bonus that it could be played both online and offline. Well, that game might be a little bit hard to run on lower-end devices, and the developer realized that, so he put out a lightweight version of the game so more people could enjoy it. Recurrence Light is awesome. It stays very close in line with the main game with the same gameplay mechanics, and it still sort of gives that Ready or Not feel, just sacrificing the graphics a little bit. It's still the best game like Ready or Not for mobile devices because there's like nothing else out there like it. It's a game where you have to infiltrate a suburban house, a maze of alleyways, or an array of different scenarios to save a hostage. There are numerous different weapons that you can use in this game. You can play in both nighttime and daytime. You have fully customizable controls so you can actually play it well and not be stuck with the default controls and advanced mechanics not seen in many other games. The CPU players are extremely accurate, and you have to be super laser accurate when you're playing this game because if you go around the corner and you don't have laser fast reflexes, those CPU players will kill you. It is a very tough game. Try out both versions of Recurrence. In fact, try out all 3 versions of Recurrence because there's the original Recurrence game as well, and let me know in the comments which game you prefer. Second to last, the 9th game on this list is another fan favorite, something I come back to countless times and is still a highly underrated game. Brutal Strike. Brutal Strike is probably one of the best mobile FPS games like CSGO for low-end devices, and it's because the amount of content this game has is just off the charts level of crazy. You are seeing the game trailer right now, and it looks like this is like 10 different games. This is all one game. When you download it, it's extremely small in size, and the whole idea behind this game is that people are able to create their own game modes. You want to play Battle Royale, or Apex Legends, or Zombies, or Modern Warfare, or literally even car racing? People have made all of that and much more in Brutal Strike. A while back, I made a full video about the game. In that video, I literally randomly came across a SpongeBob-themed map, not even joking. Obviously, if you start playing all the different game modes out there in the world, it'll start to download resources to your device and it'll get pretty large in size, but I still think this is one of the ultimate FPS games for low-end devices right now. Period. Like, not just including CSGO mobile games, I'm talking about all low-end games in general. It still has that characteristic Counter-Strike feel, but it's just so much more than that. I really, really like this game. And finally, the very last game on this list today is a game that you may or may not have heard of before. I've talked about it in past videos, and I still think it's highly underrated. Netlooter. This game is so much fun, and it's vastly different from the other games on this list. I don't really know how to describe it. You're probably just going to have to download it and try it yourself. The link is in the description. It feels like you went back in time with this game to like the mid-2000s with these unique graphics, bright colors, and Doom-style gameplay. It's an offline game, and despite that, I find that I'm having more fun playing this game than most online games. I really wish more games were like this. There were more creative mobile first-person shooters released nowadays because something like this is a welcome change in 2024. If you've played a ton of different mobile shooting games over the years and you're kind of sick of the same formula it seems like every game likes to follow nowadays, this might be the game for you. It'll take a bit to get used to, but once you start playing it, you'll probably play it for hours. It's a surprisingly optimized game considering how many lasers and lights and bullets are flashing all over your screen. And I mean, it's got good enough graphics. It's a style that won't feel dated over the years. So check it out because if you're looking for something completely different, this might be the game for you. I really encourage you to support this developer because if other developers see these unique games becoming successful, we're going to have more variety and more creative games coming out in the future. And of course, before we wrap up the video, there are some of the honorable mentions. Polyfield, a great Battlefield-themed Polygon game. It's basically Poly War graphics with more of the Carnage Wars type of gameplay. Pixelgun 3D, which you already know, which is a surprisingly good game for low-end devices, especially when you're playing some of the mini-games. Other game modes might be a little taxing on your device, but some other game modes are really, really easy to run. and even Rush Legends, this crazy PvP parkour FPS game that's sure to get the adrenaline going. There is no other game out there that's even remotely similar to Rush Legends. And I could go on and on and on. The point is, there are so many great low-end games out there. I could easily make a whole new video about them, and if you want me to do that, please let me know by leaving a like on this video, subscribing, and commenting that you want to see a part 2. If this video gets a lot of support and I can see how many people like a video or subscribe from a specific video, I will be happy to do so. That wraps everything up though. Those were the 10 best games that I can think of that would perform well on low-end devices and are worth playing in 2024. Hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll see you all in the next episode.